I bought this lens by chance and on accident because it was a good deal, and now it's my absolutely all-time favorite photography lens. I'm Isaac Jarning, and I've been dinking around with photography since about 14 years old. First camera was Canon 70D and 50 millimeter pancake lens for like $300. And ever since then, I've basically had a camera around with me wherever I go. Besides recently, less about that, but it's never the goal for that to happen. But anyways, what is this lens? This is the Zeiss 55mm 1.8. Pretty small lens, doesn't look mighty, but it packs the punch. Like I said, I got this lens by chance. My cousin is also pretty into photography, and he is always filtering out new gear, trying out new stuff, and so he had this Zeiss 55 for sale. And I don't know why I got it. I think my best prime lens at the time was actually, I don't even think I had a prime lens with Sony. So anyways, I wanted some sort of prime lens along with my versatile lens setups. And so when he had the 55mm for sale said he gives me for $300, and it's like a $900 lens or somewhere around there. I'm like, heck yeah, I'm going to go for it. But it definitely was kind of an impulse buy. I didn't need it. I wasn't looking for it, but he sold me on it. And now I have it. One of the main reasons I like it, that everybody will be able to relate to, of this being a really nice luxury, is it's so good taking this in post and working with these files. I don't know if I'm speaking out of my behind, but I think both an image is obviously camera body matters, but lens matters. Underrated that, the ideal lens matters, and then obviously your eye is the most important part by far. But taking photographs with my other lenses, such as my 24-105 f4 Sony lens or my 16-35 Sony lens, is a lot different experience than the sharpness and what I can do with the color of what's coming out of this lens. I'm able to play with shadows and darks and contrasts just as much as possible. And while I play, there's definitely going to be photos on screen of stuff I've taken. For example, I just was out hiking yesterday in Colorado, and obviously on top of these mountains, especially when sunset's going, you're going to have a really orangey sky. And then in order to expose for that, you're going to have a pretty dark other image where you're not seeing much detail, or just the way I'm able, the dynamic range and the way it stays sharp in those atmospheres. I don't know how to explain it. And I'm probably not even nailing technicalities of it, but just the feel of it is what I'm going after. But lots of good examples there. With it being so sharp, it's a great portrait lens. I always like rocking f2.8 to f4 and just getting as sharp as possible with the details. And every person I send home with photos on this lens, they are happy campers. And as for me not being a great portrait photographer, I always appreciate that a little bit. As you can see, it's small, but it's built very well. It's very heavy for the size. You're not worried about that at all. So the quality of it's always really nice to work with. You're not worried about having clanky, cheap lens. So you definitely get that for the extra spend you're putting into it. But the biggest aspect out of all of these, as you can see, I struggled through talking about the technicalities of it because I'm not huge into that aspect when it comes to creating art. The main aspect that matters for me is it allows me to create unapologetically. Doing paid stuff, you're kind of encouraged to show up with a big rig, a camera that looks cool, a lens as big as possible, the cool brand, all the extra equipment. It's encouraged, and that's great on set. And I don't love how that's a thing, but it is definitely true that it matters what your camera looks like when it comes to the first impressions of a client. But on the flip side, when you're out in public, I prefer to have as incognito of the camera as possible because I don't like pulling out a big rig when I'm strolling around with friends or strolling around on my own or taking photos in areas where it's weird to take photos. I like to have a really condensed setup So this lens being this small, it does not look impressive. You show up to a shoot, they're gonna kind of look at you weird. But incognito wise, it's amazing. I just love sticking it on, and I'm able to take photos of whatever I want without feeling bad about it. And of course, the quality is much better than a lot of my bigger, cooler looking lenses. Now I haven't put too much money into lenses, so that's not that hard, but it's great. So absolutely no pressure when this thing's on, no excuses. You can put out some good images. You just have to look around with your eye, and this tool is there to follow and create good images based on what your eye sees. I think that's the most important. Like I said, the way you get better at in art like photography is to have a camera on you. And anything that I can do to make that happen, which lately has been having this on one of my camera bodies, I'm going to make happen. So we'll see how far that lasts. Maybe in the future I want a smaller camera, but for now, this is what I got. Love this lens. Again, it's the Zeiss 55mm 1.8. Awesome stuff. I'll have a link down to it below. I don't even know if that's where you'd want to buy it from, but that's where it is. You look around, read more about it. Also down below, I love connecting and talking about creating and all that stuff. So there'll be a newsletter down there where I'm talking about what I'm up to as a creative and business owner, as well as what inspired me for the week, as well as what I've been posting and all that. That's down below. And also various social links where I'm putting out all mediums of different types of content that come straight from the brain. Yeah. So what's your favorite lens that you've worked with? What do you think about this lens if you've worked with it before? All those questions I want to hear more about. But thanks so much for tuning in. Peace, love, tranquility.